What's up, y'all? It's Friday. What's going on? We are down here. What is up, everybody? We down here listening to
I need affection. Let's go, Mario. Girl, I can have it on your mind.
Yes, come on, Mario. That ain't what I need, baby. Okay, what's up, y'all? Yes, we're down here. Starting family, baby. Yes, you understand how to treat a man. This is what I need. But as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Never mind the weather. Yes, come on. Ah, whoever wrote that put Puffy. All right, let's go. We down here. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stopped by. We are down here. I have two things I want to talk about, I guess, but I think we could talk about real New Jersey housewives, and we'll save hot topics for tomorrow. I didn't even realize it was Friday, y'all. Yesterday I was like sitting there and I was like, wait, because I've been watching The Circle, and I was like, wait, The Circle comes out on Wednesdays. Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. I didn't even realize. I didn't come down here and make a video. Just wanted a day off. Just didn't feel like making a video. I was just like, okay, it's enough going on in the world that everybody can be preoccupied with other things. I'll come down here later, okay? So we are down here. The first thing we want to talk about here, let me read it off here. Let's see. It says that it's so crazy. All right, so the Derek Chauvin, or Chauvin, is guilty of murdering George Floyd. They found him guilty on all charges, and he was charged with second-degree murder, third-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter. Okay, it says the jurors were three black men, two white men, one black woman, and four white women, and two referred to themselves as mixed race. Seeking a unanimous conclusion, jurors have convicted the accused of all charges. So now they got to go to sentencing. He's been placed in solitary confinement, which I believe, because normally they don't go to jail. So I do believe they should be in GP. That's just what it is. You are no different from the other murderer in the cell next to you. Actually, no different. You have just been hired by taxpayers to terrorize their communities. You belong to a terrorist cell organization. If you are in law enforcement, that's how I look at it. You belong to an organization that terrorizes communities throughout the United States. No different than the way that the military goes overseas to other countries to, bring order, and how they treat the citizens in other countries. We are treated the same exact way. So I don't believe that the way that he murdered a person is different from, the other person who was, they couldn't call it first degree, which I believe that there was intent. That was the intention. You know what I'm saying? So, manslaughter is like, from what my understanding is, manslaughter is like unintended. It happened. It wasn't intentional. What happened? It was a crime, but there was no intent, which I don't believe that. I honestly believe, and I've said it before, and I'll just say it again, that I believe that law enforcement officials have been giving a kind of shadow executive order to terminate or to eliminate any black person they come in contact with, no matter what the offense is or whatever the situation is. I believe that they have been told, if you come in contact with a black person, make sure that you are the judge, jury, and the executioner in that moment. The likelihood of you going to jail is very, very, very slim. And I know that people are doing the work to try to eliminate that, where police officers are treated not as a member of a terrorist cell organization, but as a regular citizen, right? I think it's really a mind fuck that we as taxpayers pay a terrorist organization to terrorize our communities. Like, we pay you, and in return, this is, you terrorize every community that you patrol or that you're in. It's really crazy. So I think that, I don't know if it's like a W for the team, but it happened. And hopefully more cops who commit murder and who kill black people and who kill anybody, right? Just unarmed, or not really, where you could have actually diffused the situation instead of murdering the person. Yeah, it's like, and like the training and stuff that they keep saying they need more training. You don't need more training. You don't need more training. You actually need to be defunded, and you actually need to only you actually need to be defunded and only respond when there is another professional that can come along with you. So like in auto accidents, I don't think police officers should show up to auto accidents, right? Now, if you feel like there's going to be a civil dispute or a disagreement or a fight or whatever between you and the person, then we want to call the cops. But otherwise, if we're just exchanging information and need pictures taken, you can have maybe one cop come with a person who specializes in that. When there is a call for someone who is having a mental break or a mental episode and they need help and they're nonviolent, they're not threatening themselves or anyone else. Maybe they feel like they're a threat to themselves, maybe, but you don't bring someone with a gun who has been trained to kill. They're just not the right person. So take the funding away from this militarized police force and put the funds in where you can actually see, people come out of their engagement or interactions with police alive. So that's all I have to talk about for that. Let's get on to some other stuff. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't even know if you could really call her a friend of the Housewives. I mean, she was on, I think we saw Falynn a total of, in minutes, we probably saw her a total of 15 minutes throughout this entire season. I think I'm going to be honest, I think people wanted Falynn to come on the show just simply because of the way that she looks. Nobody knew nothing about Falynn. No one knows anything about Falynn. No one knows where she came from. The only thing that made her what people want to see her on the television, one, was that she was married to a wealthy man, and two, that she was attractive, and they wanted her on the show. Kenya has said on I think it was Speak On It, that she felt like Falynn would be good for the show. She needed a peach because she has a very interesting story. And one of her interesting aspect to Falynn was that she had 3 children. And a black man actually married her with 3 children. So that's like kind of like what do you call that? Where something that it's like you don't see it too often. Rare? Is that what we could say? It's rare that happens. It does happen, right? Women who have children, not all men see them as less valuable in our social, our society or whatever. I thought it was very interesting that she did have 3 children, but apparently, and he married her. Apparently they're getting a divorce. And I don't know what to say about it. I don't have much invested in that character. She was not developed enough, and if we're going to be frank, neither were the main characters. We didn't develop Candy enough. We didn't develop Kenya enough. They did spend time on Kenya and Mark's situation. They spent a very little time on Portia's situation with her outside of anything. Like, really, Portia didn't have much of a storyline. If you think about it, it was just her relationship. The same like with Kenya. They didn't really do a lot of character development this season. which they probably could have done between episode 1 and episode 9. You could have developed the characters like that. I guess they wanted to make sure. I mean, anyways, that has nothing to do with this. But she's getting a divorce. Latoya Ali called it the other day that she was going to be kicked out of St. Joe property, hoe. Keep it in your mouth, bitch. I don't know what she's going to do. She's 33 years old. I don't know nothing about Falynn to even be like, oh no, I hate to see her. I hate that this is happening to her. I don't know nothing about her. So good luck to her. Like, what does Jamie That's Me say? Good luck. Bitch. Shout out to Jamie That's Me. She'd be like, good luck. Bitch, you know. Like, girl, good luck. Bitch. So what else is happening? Latoya, she was on Speak On It. I didn't really talk much about Latoya on Speak On It. With Latoya, her character, it can go either or with her. The only reason why I would go with her is because I don't feel like she's being inauthentic on screen. I feel like this is who she is. And based on people who supported her in the past from her YouTube channel, Latoya has always been like this. So what you're seeing is not somebody coming on screen behaving in a certain way so that the viewer can have a different perception of her. She's authentic, whether you like her or not. So I would rather have somebody on my screen who's authentic than somebody who comes on my screen and is lying about their life, lying about everything, all different aspects of their life. They're not honest. So I would take her in that respect, but to me, she's a little too amped up for my taste. I think that she has a little bit more maturing to do, but I do believe, like when I saw her in the scene with Cynthia and Kenya at Kenya's house, I do believe that she was still herself, but was more classy. She knows when to act a fool. And even though she was acting silly at Kenya's house, she was still herself, but she wasn't as over the top as she is. Like, like what she did at Cynthia's house, right? When her and Drew got into that, Latoya was literally standing on Cynthia's furniture. Bitch, get the fuck off of my furniture, girl. Like, it's stuff like that, right? Even though it's funny in the moment, you really was standing on this lady's furniture like, fuck your couch. See, it's funny, but it's that level of immaturity. Like, why are you on this lady's couch? Like, girl, grow up. So one thing that people are talking about, and I think that we do need to get away from, is and this is I just want to add this is the one reason why I can't get with these channels that speak mainly to women and speak to women about how to walk in society and deal with socialized men and how they are taught to treat women. And we have all the different channels and all the different for all different audiences, depending on who resonates with you, that's who you watch, right? So some of these channels I've shared with y'all that I watch, I don't want to mention any names, but because I'm going to make a general statement and I don't want any person to think that I'm talking about them specifically. But there is a thing that happens with Black women which makes it hard for me to be in community with a lot of cisgender heterosexual Black women, is because they use a man's sexuality as an insult, as a way to insult. And it's not overt, it's very covert, it's very subtle, right? It's this subtlety that would describe a man as a little bit feminine, which would speak to the reason why he's acting a certain way. And so let me, because he's obviously acting out of character, let me suggest that he might be gay. right? I don't like that because I don't see someone being gay or bisexual or trans or queer or lesbian. I don't see that as a way to insult someone. It would be the same way, like I don't I think that what black women do and men like this, and it's based in misogyny because there is a kind of like, you're too feminine. So you're telling me that something is wrong with femininity to the point that it turns you off when a man demonstrates subtle feminine characteristics or characteristics that have been assigned to women, therefore denoted as femininity, right? So we know that femininity and masculinity is a performance. And as a person with a vagina, I don't have the cornerstone on how femininity should be performed and who it should be performed by. Just because I have a vagina does not mean that I embody femininity the way that society has said that women are supposed to behave. And what I don't like is these channels who are trying to uplift women, but then making suggestions that a man is gay, right? And then all that does is create a space and an energy of anti-gay rhetoric, right? And it's very subtle, right? And I think what happens with Latoya, and I'm making a point, is that people are saying, and her husband, it's not just men that do it, women do it too, right? There's this aversion to femininity or any demonstration of femininity that is demonstrated by a person with a penis, right? That they should behave a certain way based on characteristics that have been assigned to, or the performance has been assigned to the way that quote unquote men are supposed to behave. So any glimpse of femininity, then now it's an insult. You're being insulted, right? Somehow the man is less than. It's in some way, right? Latoya's new boyfriend, I think his name is Vaughn, he has been linked to Jeffree Star, right? He is a trainer. He is and has been linked to, he trains people within the LGBTQ community. And Latoya said he has friends in the LGBTQ community. Whether you have friends or not, that's one thing we do have to get rid of. Just because you have a friend who is gay doesn't mean that you can't be anti-gay. Just because you have a friend who is black doesn't mean you can't be anti-black. Just because you are black doesn't mean you can't be anti-black. And just because you're gay doesn't mean you can't be anti-gay. Right? We have some things that we subscribe to internally that we have to, a lot of us, gay, straight, or whatever, need to get rid of, right? This idea that, what's her name? Vaughn is somehow this bisexual man, or he had relationships with other men, whatever type of relation, that somehow something's wrong with that. And I love the fact that Latoya said, and if he was, and if he did, that is something that I deal with, right? Now, a lot of people would say, oh, it's a preference, it's a preference, it's a preference. But if your preference is rooted in someone demonstrating femininity and you being having an aversion to a demonstration of femininity, that's internalized misogyny, right? And they take that and then it's also anti-gay, right? It's homophobic. So, and biphobic, let's say that, because if he is having sex with men and women, he would be classified or labeled as bisexual. And I love the fact that she says that's up to me and I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm one of those women. I actually would have gotten to a space where I don't even want to even consider being in a relationship with a cisgender heterosexual person because of the way that they have been socialized to treat women, of the way that they have been socialized to just behave as a person. That's not something that sits well with me in terms of my mental my spiritual. I just can't get with that. For me, if you were to say I would have a preference, my preference would be that somebody that I would partner with be bisexual, only because that there is, as long as they're not ascribing to heteronormative ideologies, which a lot of people in the LGBTQ community find themselves in relationship that mimic hetero relationships, and sometimes those people, and we see a lot of lesbians, they kind of start taking on this idea of what masculinity looks like, and then they start behaving like socialized cisgendered heterosexual men, and then their relationships with other women become very toxic and reminiscent of what it would look like if a heterosexual man and woman were in a relationship. That's where you get the kind of, it's a constant, discussion about bottoms, right? This idea that you are a receiver, that's something that has to be wrong with that, right? Because that's rooted in femininity, right? It's like you are a receiver. So I know I got off topic, but you're a receiver. Somehow something's wrong with you, or something there. We have an issue with bottoms because they are in our, how we've been trained in our minds to believe because you're a receiver somehow you're more feminine, right? And so then there's something wrong with that, where to the point where people don't share that they like to receive rather than give. You understand what I'm saying? So I am with Latoya. I support her in that aspect of what she's sharing with us as far as our relationship. I don't see anything wrong with it. I also think it's ironic that a woman would not, as a straight woman having sex with men, that somehow something is off about a man having sex with a man, to where you are somehow no longer attracted to this person or see them as a viable dating option when you also have sex with men. So that's all I had to say about Latoya and them. That's it. Shout out to Shock G. I believe Shock G is the founder of Digital Underground. Let me tell you something. From the beginning, freaks of the industry, one of my first favorite like dirty rap songs. Shout out to Shock G. He passed away or transitioned the other day before yesterday, 57 years old. The people, I mean, the one thing that's constant is change, and the one thing that we can be sure of about our lives is that we are going to die, and all we can do is celebrate these people's lives and their contribution to our culture, contribution to whatever genre they were in, whatever part, but they a part of our culture, and celebrate them, light a candle, play some music, and see them on their way. They're in a different realm, on a different plane, traveling to different lands, honey, and be happy, right, for them, that they're out of this matrix onto something else better and easier. That's it. That's all I had to talk about. Hopefully we had a good conversation. I'm gonna try and do our Real Housewives of New Jersey review right now. So I'm gonna come back and let's see if we can do it. Okay. I guess we can get down in the comments. I didn't really say much. I don't know. Let's get down in the comments. What do you think? What do you think about what I said? I'm sure you guys have opinions on it. I'm sure there's a lot of women who identify as heterosexual or straight who would never have or be in relation with a man who is bisexual. Me, I would actually, that would be, it's my preference based on my experience with cisgender heterosexual men and how those relationships turned out. If I was open to a relationship, then the man would definitely have to be bisexual, trans, not cisgender heteros. No, I'm good. They would have to be bisexual, trans, or something else, because the way that, especially black men, the way that they've been socialized, the way that men have been socialized, period. But in my community, there it just doesn't I'm not on that frequency. It doesn't. It's very staticky to me. That all of that. No, I'm good. Anyways, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Provide your opinions on the topics that I talked about. Respect each other's opinions. Respect each other's identities. Any kind of glimpse of disrespect or intolerance or hatred in any way, I just will delete your comment and block you. So you can watch, but you won't be able to leave a comment. Anyways, take care of each other and protect your energy. Take care of yourself as well. Peace.